And 72% of the time the market goes up. And the answer came to me. And that's when I developed my chart. The answer came to me is because, just like Caterpillar, when they pull their money out, you get out.
Whoa. It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Network.
Oh, God. Are you nuts?
With your host, Phil Grande.
Bye. And welcome to my podcast. Okay, so what's really interesting is how Wall Street is keeping from everybody what's really going on and how critical a situation we are in right now. When you see these yields keep going up and up and up for the wrong reasons, and that creates real havoc. And then when you combine the deficits, you have a real problem. I mean, the deficits are huge. We have an M2 money supply problem. Let me just start with it so you understand where I'm going. But it's really upsetting how nobody on these financial shows want you to know the truth, because Wall Street doesn't want you to know the truth. So, and again, if you take this situation on a scale from 1 to 10, we're at 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. Only 2 periods, okay, in modern history have we ever seen it this bad. I mean, we've never seen it like this. I said 2 periods, that's all. In modern history have we seen the money supply this bad and the banks and deficits that are so bad. I mean, you take the banks and the deficits, combine them, it's really dangerous. And as I said, twice in our whole history we've seen that. So deficits are at $1.8 trillion. Now, that's the largest deficit, peacetime deficit, that in history, but nobody's talking about it. Now, the problem with the deficit that we run, we keep spending more money than we take in, and Congress always approves it, which we should shut Congress down. They're not doing their job. Deficits become a chokehold on M2 money supply. Now, what's an M2 money supply? M2 money supply is, your checking accounts, your savings accounts, all the things that really keep our economy going. CDs, all those sorts of things. And the money supply, those things are very, very important, because what it does, it tells us the financial situation that the folks are in and businesses are in. I mean, that's what you use to judge it. If the M2 money supply is up, your checking account and savings accounts and CDs and business accounts are all up, that's good. The economy's doing good. But when it's down, that's a very bad sign. So the banks and the deficits combined is lethal, because as I said, they choke off our money supply. Now, checking deposits, savings deposit, retail money, market funds, all these are very important, because it will tell you the one critical thing that we need to know as traders, investors. Is there enough money in our banking system to lend? Can we make loans? Is there enough money there to make loans? How about for small businesses making investments? How about, is there enough money so our economy can grow? It's like the small mid-cap stocks, IWM, is the symbol. Wall Street doesn't want you to understand that either. The 2 things we look at every day here at Phil's Gang before we start trading is the 10-year Treasury yield and the small mid-cap stocks, IWM. Both are truth serums. That's the only place you can get the truth. The only place you can get the truth. Now, again, when you're looking at the small, deposits and savings and so forth, again, as I said, it tells you how people are doing. And we're critical right now. It's very bad. And, is there enough money in the system? No. There's not enough money in the system for growth. There's not enough money in the system to loan the small business for inventory. It's never been that bad. So if you look on, and by the way, if you go and look up the Fred M2 money supply, it looks like it's doing great. Don't believe it. That is so rigged, okay? That is so rigged. It's not looking at what we are looking at. So if anyone looks at the Fred M2 money supply, oh yeah, but it's going up, Phil. Yeah, it looks like it's going up, but it's not. It's not. Now, so treasuries are issuing bonds right now to fund the deficit. So Trump is borrowing money using T-bills. Now T-bills, the reason why he does that, that's immediate cash to keep the lights on and to pay the congressman. And I'm serious when I say that. I'm not being funny. And so he gets T-bills because you can get those lower interest rates, and you can go once a week and get those. You don't have to wait for a bond auction. And so they're borrowing money, okay? So every time we sell T-bills, okay, or we push out T-bills to the government because they need money, then that means the investors, the people that have money in savings accounts and so forth, they take their money out, and they also will buy T-bills because interest rates are higher than what they're getting at the bank. So once the government owes so much money because they're spending so much more money they're taking in, and they're using T-bills as a source to fund, spending going wild, those yields go up, very attractive, and that means everybody's taking their money out of the banks, savings and so forth, and buying T-bills. So there's not enough money at the bank. The reserves are going down. And what does the bank do? Starts raising rates, to try to slow down. The people come in to borrow money, right? They're raising rates on those folks who are looking to borrow money so they don't borrow because we're depleting, our reserves. So this is where we are, but Wall Street's not going to tell you this. So when the Treasury, when investors rather, buy these T-bills, or when people, the government, we push T-bills to them so they can pay their bills. The bank, their deposits go down. So, I mean about the Treasury, their deposits go down. The Treasury account at the Fed goes up. So in other words, think of it this way here. The Fed has a checking account set up for the government, okay? And so when investors buy treasuries, buy bonds, the bank deposits go down, but the Treasury has an account at the Fed, it goes up. That's screwing us. Think about what they're doing. So the money's going to the Fed, and that amount of money is going up. But what's critical is the money on this side is going down. So money moves out of, what I'm trying to say is money moves out of the M2, meaning all the small checking accounts, savings, and all that, into the Federal Reserve checking account. It's called Treasury General Account. That doesn't help us, that hurts us. So again, it's the U.S. Treasury's checking account at the Federal Reserve, not a bank. How does that help us? It doesn't. It's killing us. Now, so what happens is when M2, okay, starts stagnating, it doesn't grow because deposits are being drained. So now as your M2 money supply, the amount of all these savings and everything is not growing. That really hurts our economy big time. So, and the other thing that happens is with lower deposits coming in to the banks, lower reserves at the banks, less lending at the banks, that's a big chokehold. It means no new money is being created. How do banks create new money? Lending. That's the only way they can create new money is through lending, but they're not lending. Who'd want a loan right now at these yields, at these interest rates? So what's happening is our bank reserves are tanking, our balance sheet capacity is shrinking, the funding cost, if you go get a loan or if you got a loan, is rising, and credit creation is going at a snail's pace. And when the banks stop lending, then the M2 money supply that we need so desperately to take care of the folks, okay, is at a choke point. It stops growing. And this is when the guys and people on Main Street are getting screwed. But nobody's going to talk about this. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Congress should stop this. So in other words, the government, Congress should be saying, the Congress should, no more. You can't keep spending more than you take in. Because what's happening is we have to keep punching out T-bills for the government to survive, to put the lights on. That means when those T-bills are getting pushed out, and we're funding the government with these T-bills and yields going up, then everybody else wants T-bills. And so M2 stops growing because we got all these T-bills out there. That's destroying our economy. And people don't realize that this market, the only reason why the market's not seeing 1,000-point days, negative days, is because the plunger team has come in and saved the market every day. The plunger team, the first thing the president does, signs an executive order ordering the Fed to tell JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citi, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo, start buying all the stocks that you can buy. And then they start buying stocks and ETFs to try to push the market up, to try to squeeze anybody short. But that's not enough. What they do, the next thing they do, is they order the arbitrage players. They have a tremendous amount of money, and they have computers, robotic computers, that click those on, and they can buy in seconds thousands and thousands and thousands of shares. And that's what they're doing. So to stop the market from going down, we have such a situation to sit here and look at the S&P's down 100, and the Dow's only down 470. It's ridiculous. How many times have we dropped 1,200 points, 1,100 points for nothing? So they're masking how bad things are. So you got to learn how to sell short, man. It's the only way. We got 11 sectors. There's only one sector you can buy. Stocks that are going up. Oil, we were in those early. So the problem is right now, Powell, he's created a money trap. Powell is now put us in a position that he can't raise rates, he can't cut rates. It's unbelievable because inflation is reaccelerating. The dollar, okay, right now, the dollar has been going up only because yields are going up. And long-term yields are going up big time. We see that every day, right? But 4.25, I think, today. Treasury funding is getting harder to do. Deposits are leaving the bank to buy these T-bills. So so again, he can't cut rates and he can't raise rates. He can't raise rates because the banks' balance sheets are taking big hits. Repo, the money at night where we loan to banks to stay alive so they can open the doors the next day, the repo money the repo liquidity is getting drained. And remember, QT keeps draining our reserves. I mean, this is, but nobody's talking about any of this. So again, remember, he's built 4 walls around this, and he has no way out. So again, make sure you keep on following the money, follow the institutional money, and learn how to sell short, because that's where you're going to make a ton of money. He screwed everything up. See you on the charts.
Are you nuts?